Okay, so we're up to way number 30, which is ahuv, being beloved. So every human being has a need to be loved by others, right? So ahuv, the pleasure of being beloved, is not the false experience of impressing others or being admired. Any recognition you receive through that is kind of manipulative and generally shallow and unfulfilling. Um, we're talking here about the desire to have people love you by recognizing your strengths and your virtues and seeing your unique soul. So, number one of this is no strings attached. It says in the pasuk in Mishlei in Proverbs, it says, "Kemayim panim el panim, kein leiv ha'adam le'adam." Just like water reflects a face back to a face, so too one's heart is reflected back to him by another, right? If you project cold aloofness, you'll receive cold aloofness back. If you give out warmth and openness, you'll get warmth and openness back. So it follows that the best way to get other people to love you is by giving them pleasure with no strings attached. It can be any type of pleasure, material, spiritual, as long as it means something to the recipient. Hearty good morning, a cappuccino, a few minutes of your undivided attention, visiting a friend that's sick, inviting people for a Shabbos meal. You know, there's many different ways that we can give kind of unconditionally, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do it. So just start giving without ulterior motive. The Michtav Me'elio, Rav Elio Dessler writes that the Hebrew word for ahava comes from the Aramaic root hav, which is to give. Right? When we give, we create a deep relationship and a connection by investing something of ourselves in that relationship. So number two of this is learn what you love about others. Make a list of people that you love. Your spouse, your children, your parents, siblings, friends, and then take a moment to think about what is it about this person that I admire, that I love, that I take pleasure in, and list those things, and then try to figure out what is it that they do that shows you that characteristic. This then gives you a roadmap for things that you can do to create a sense of belovedness between you and someone else. Number three of this is communicate your love. You know, there are parents that would walk through walls for their children, and yet their children feel unloved and resent their parents. Why is this? So, in part, it's because some people have trouble effectively communicating the love that they feel. If a parent conveys to their child a critical attitude and some anger and withholds expressions of love and acceptance, then the children are going to get the wrong message. So, a critical need in creating relationships of love is the ability to communicate that love by constantly showing the affection, by complimenting them, by giving them a sense of how valued they are. Physical, affection is also a relevant part of this. Number four of this is be friendly and complimentary. The next time you take pleasure in someone else's behavior or someone else accomplishes something praiseworthy, act, give them a compliment. Don't be a quiet observer. Don't confuse, of course, complimenting someone on something legitimate with flattery, right? Flattery reduces a person to an object that you're using for your purposes. True compliments are recognizing the virtue of what someone did or accomplished. Number five of this is gifts. Another effective way to make yourself beloved is by gift giving. And this is not the same as souvenirs, right? It's not the afterthought thing you pick up in the airport when you haven't thought of anything else. True gifts require consideration and demonstrates that you were thinking about the person. The greatest gift that a person can give is wisdom, right? A nice tie may be worn for a year, but wisdom can change one's life forever. So ask yourself, what piece of wisdom do I have that would be appreciated by my spouse, my siblings, my children, those around me? And find a way, like any gift, to wrap it properly, right? Don't lecture, but instead try and give that gift in a way that will be enjoyable to the recipient. So my apologies if this gift that I am giving to you is comes across as a lecture. It's not intended that way. Number six of this is live with vitality, right? People are drawn, to a person who exudes joy and happiness and a passion for living, right? So for starters, if you want people to love you, get rid of pessimism and criticism and gloom. Um, Such negativity tends to drive people away. So work on being optimistic and cheerful and confident about the future. So a couple of applied wisdom ideas here are for 30 days, give someone a compliment every day. Just one compliment a day. Notice how good it makes you feel and obviously how impactful it is on your relationship. And number two of applied wisdom for this is articulate on paper, in your head, somehow, what you love about those closest to you and determine what behavior you can model that will mirror that same attribute.